The next group of 7 fallacies are fallacies of distraction or diversion, ways of diverting attention away from the argument, the point, the issue, instead of argument ad rem or argument to the point or argument addressed to the real thing. We have argument ad 7 other things with Latin names: personality, authority, threat, pity, shame, popularity, or ignorance. Fallacies of equivocation look with double vision, so to speak, at a set of words and see 2 different things, confusing 2 meanings. Fallacies of diversion, in contrast, turn our attention away from the facts, from reality, to something else. They are diversionary tactics, as in battle. The most common of these fallacies of diversion is the argument ad hominem, or simply ad hominem for short, which means an argument addressed to the person or the personality instead of the issue. In other words, a personal attack attacking the person instead of attacking the issue. Poisoning the well is the direct attack on the trustworthiness of the person making a statement instead of addressing the statement. For example, how can you believe anything he says? The fallacy does not consist in criticizing the person's character or reliability. That is certainly a relevant consideration and would be a fallacy to suppress it or any other relevant evidence. The fallacy consists in substituting the personal attack for facing the person's argument or truth claim, using it as reason for not looking at the facts or reasons. Poisoning the well usually, but not always, involves another fallacy also: slanting or name-calling within the attack of a person's character, the use of question-begging epithets or insulting labels instead of facts and reasons for doubting his reliability. If you believe your opponent's character or reliability is questionable, it is legitimate to say, but reasons must be given for the belief too, not just insults. Tu quoque, literally you too, consist of accusing your critic of the same thing your critic accuses you of, rather than defending yourself against the criticism. I've just proved that you are a liar. Refute my argument. Well, you're just as much a liar as I am. Perhaps he is, but that does not refute his argument. The most common form of ad hominem today is the genetic fallacy, which consists in refuting an idea by showing some suspicious psychological origin of it. There is nothing wrong with looking at an idea's psychological origin, but this is the task of the psychologist, not the logician. The genetic fallacy is a fallacy not because it is psychological, but because it is a confusion, and an extremely common one, between logic and psychology. It is a confusion between the 2 fundamental meanings of the word because. Because can mean 1, a cause of an effect, or it can mean 2, a reason or premise or evidence for a conclusion. If it means 1, a cause, then in turn, that cause can be either 1A, an external, objective physical cause like heavy objects falling down because of gravity, or paper towels absorbing water because of their capillary action, or 1B, an eternal subjective psychological cause like believing in Santa Claus because it makes you happy, or fearing large black dogs because one bit you once when you were a child. The genetic fallacy consists in substituting 1B for 2, substituting a personal motive for a logical reason. That is, you believe that only because you've never grown up, or you just can't admit I'm right because you're jealous of my intelligence, or can't accept your conclusion because you don't understand my feelings. The Freudian emphasis on the subconscious has made this fallacy popular today. For example, it is often thought that monarchists believed in God because they subconsciously wanted the universe to be hierarchical in order to justify their hierarchical society. The second classification, or 2B, is ad verecundium. Ad verecundium means the appeal to reverence. The fallacy is the illegitimate appeal to authority, or the appeal to illegitimate authority. Appeal to authority is not in itself fallacious, for authority does not mean might, but right. In fact, most of what we know we have learned by trusting authorities. First of all, our parents, then our teachers, and our textbooks. No one can learn everything firsthand. Most of what we know comes to us secondhand, with many other human links in the chain. G.K. Chesterton satirizes the uncritical refusal to accept anything on authority in the first sentence of his autobiography, bowing down in blind credulity, as is my custom, before mere authority and the tradition of the elders, superstitiously swallowed a story I could not test at the time by the experiment or private judgment. I am firmly of the opinion that I was born on the 29th of May, 1874, on Camden Hill, Kingston, and baptized according to the formularies of the Church of England and in the little church of St. George opposite the large waterworks that dominated the ridge. The appeal to authority becomes fallacious when the authority is 1. Irrelevant, 2. Unreliable, 3. Unnecessary, 4. Dogmatic, 5. Uncritical. The third one, 2C, ad baculum. This is the appeal to force. Baculum means stick. That is, to fear, the fear of force instead of reason. The other side of the coin, or correlative of the appeal to fear, is the appeal to desire. This has not yet received a separate technical name, yet the thought that it's true because I want it to be true is perhaps the commonest fallacy of all. Freud would certainly say so. Is that an argumentum ad verecundium? 2D, ad misericordiam. The fallacy of ad misericordiam, or appeal to pity, is the perversion of something that is perfectly legitimate in itself, just as the appeal to authority. Pity is usually a good thing, often appropriate, sometimes necessary, but it cannot be a substitute for an argument. The commonest form of this fallacy in teachers' experience is students' attempt to buy higher grades or more time to complete late assignments because of the supposed suffering that they experienced either before the test or assignment. 2E, ad ignominiam. This is an appeal to shame. Shame, like fear and pity, is another emotion that is often appropriate, but never a valid substitute for reason. To believe or disbelieve an idea, or to choose to do or not do a deed only because you do not want to experience shame, is a substitute emotion for reason, and that is clearly just as unreliable as substituting reason for emotion. Shame itself is not a fallacy, but deciding what to do or say by appealing only to shame is a logical fallacy because it is a diversion from the objective truth, facts, and evidence. 2F, ad populum. This fallacy is especially popular today in what sociologists call other-directed age, when the need for acceptance by others is felt so strongly. It is the fallacy of believing or doing something only because it is popular, or getting someone else to believe or do something only because other people do. It is called the appeal to the populace or the appeal to the masses, but sometimes the appeal is only to a select group of people by implying, I'm one of a kind, trust me. This is sometimes called snob appeal and usually is negative rather than positive. For example, can anything good come out of Nazareth? John 1:46. As with other fallacies in this group, the fallacy consists not in feeling itself the desire to be accepted, but appealing to it instead of to reason as a diversion from the facts and evidence. The last fallacy of diversion is 2G, ad ignorantian. The appeal to ignorance consists in arguing that an idea must be true because we do not know that it is not. It is a fallacy because ignorance can never be a premise or reason. Premises must express knowledge claims. Nothing logically falls from nothing, for example, from no knowledge. Examples: he can't prove he earned that money, so he must have stolen it. Aristotle, never heard of him, so he can't be important. We know of no natural cause that could have produced the effect, so it must have been a miracle. How could there be a war going on? I haven't seen any evidence of it.